Good morning, welcome to Peace Pat Paints. I'm Pat. I paint little tiny things on the internet. We are here. We're gathered here today. So we're gonna finish up some little Lizardmen we've been working on. I did a lot of work yesterday to kind of get all this caught up. I want to have all of these guys done this weekend. We were able to drop like a short almost like every day this week. It'd be cool to be able to drop some more shorts next week and So I'm gonna work on these guys, and I might actually get these kobolds done over the weekend, and then I'm gonna try to get some stuff printed for next week. If not, then there's a bunch of other stuff I can catch up. I'm gonna try to get some stuff caught up and get things out there. Also, we're gonna get the Etsy store running. It's up and going. Looks like Sir McBeardsly there. I'm gonna have to use my phone as my chat thing, so because my chat for some reason on this is not doing well. So it's good to see you, my friend. Hopefully I can keep that kind of in play, and I can keep an eye on it. It's so much easier when it's over there and I can read it. But we're gonna make this work because that's what we do. That's how we work. So anyway, let's get straight to looking at the cool stuff instead of me. Because, I mean, I'm cool, but I'm not that cool. Nor would I want to be. Alright, here we go. Alright, let me turn this out. Bing. Okay. So, yeah, that's too bad. Alright. So, we've been working on this guy. We did this one and this one. Oh, cats have messed my camera up again. Hold on. Or maybe I messed it up. I'm not sure. Could be either one of us. Could be either one of us. Okay. There we go. I was doing a lot of banging around yesterday. Okay, so this is the one we were working on yesterday. He's looking pretty snazzy. I went ahead and did a little bit of dry brush of the blue down his back on top of that purple to kind of tone him out a little bit, which is nice. It looked a little off. The purple was too purple, and this kind of brings in some cohesion. And then we did this guy here. This is more like a standard look to a Lizardman. And I went ahead and duplicated the same kind of thing on some of these other guys. So that way we've got kind of an idea what they're gonna look like, what they would look like in different poses. So these are more of that traditional Lizardman look. And then let's see what he did. We're working on another one like that other one that's got this is a little bit more difficult to get into. It'd been better if I had done all this and then attached this, but that's okay. So this one's kind of duplicated with this guy. And then I came up with two new patterns. Just to kind of be fun. So this guy is really nice. I kind of like this one. Kind of a vermilion and then blue and green. Very, very light green. So that's going to be fun. So I've got one that I kind of got set up to that, so I can show you kind of how. And it's just a quick dry brush of the blue right on top. But this guy's going to be set up to look like this guy. So they'll match. So if we've got some time, I'll get on that guy. And then I did this crazy cool pattern. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this one as well. I'm going to do that one on this guy. So we can have that pattern. And this is kind of a icy blue to orangey, fiery yellow. So they're all really, really great in a bunch of different ways. We are working on this guy today. We're gonna get him at least pretty close. We should be able to finish this guy up today without any too much of a problem. Alrighty. So we need to get in here with all of our burnt sienna bits and get all that painted in. so we can finish all our washes and get to the next step. Oh, this paint is being pretty thin. It's acting like a wash itself. Ha ha ha. A little bit of overpaint's totally fine. It's not going to interfere with the crimson when we come back and add that, so don't stress it too much. Also liked putting that sienna over the top of this turtle shell. It really did look nice. And help kind of separate this out from, say, the helmet here. Make sure we got all that done up. Green in there to kind of help that out. Now, another thing we were doing is we were coming around with this permanent green, and we were greening out the rest of the scales to get to this darker kind of, it's a different green color. And it doesn't seem like it does much at first, but it is very dramatic overall. It makes them look a whole lot different, a whole lot greener, more emeraldy, more shimmery, which is the overall look we're looking for. And it's based off of one of the other lizards we were looking at. All these are kind of based off different iguanas. I thought that would be a fun thing to kind of base the Lizardmen colors off of. Just a little bit more. Blue on some of this. All right, so just a little bit of. Oh, that's not quite right, is it? What else can we do? All right, so get our fine brush out just to stay moving. Got that rope. Boom, boom, boom. Clean up this conch a little. Ooh. Get my arm twisted in, and this pulls me right out of the camera on this angle. Definitely getting better though. Slowly but surely. That's one of the things I'll tell you for anybody trying to start doing this themselves on YouTube, you know, paint or whatever on YouTube. Making sure you're in that camera focus is that's the trick. This one seems to focus a little bit better at this angle, which is great. But we need a slightly better camera to really get that autofocus down pat. guy always has shield straps, so you make sure you get those. Alright. What's going on there? Is that? Did I just miss this? That's weird. How did I miss? How did that not happen? I feel like I got like a color mistake or something. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know what I did there. No telling. This is completely dried out. It's almost time to change this palette for real, y'all. It's getting out of control. It's covered in junk. That's teal. That's green. That's bronze. I use a lot more bronze than gold. I used to use a lot of gold when I was, younger and early on, or sometimes if I only had gold. Now I try to use bronze where I can. What do we use? We're gonna make those. Ends are okay. Why don't I just get started here? Let that set up. That's just a little bit of a red wash. Kind of get that mouth finished out. Very carefully work that small, I don't know, line. I guess it's rope, but it's thin yarn. Cord is probably the technical term there. Gotta love that. All right. Just a little bit there, a little bit there. Kind of make it look like something's holding on to them. Now we gotta figure out these feathers. This should be pretty easy. Ooh, itch my ear. Be careful sticking that backs of brushes in your ear. Make sure you don't jam that thing in there. Don't go fast and don't go deep. Oh shoot! Whoopsie! Smash that thing right here. Pat told me to. I did not. They said nothing of the sort. That was that bright green. We're going to mix it with just a little bit of this halo. Yeah. Now he's got himself the primary colors. And I do not have my metal wash, so we are going to do that stuff tomorrow. We'll put metal wash on what needs metal wash. So we'll check our other models. Make sure all that on there. Let's see. That needs to dry. We are definitely getting to a drying stage. And that's one of the things about working. Like I was able to get all those other models painted yesterday because I was able to, like, while one was drying, work on another. And that's one of the things where you do these shows, it doesn't quite encapsulate how fast you can really crank these out, because a lot of times we're spending time trying to figure out what to do next to let things dry and whatnot. Right. For now, let's go ahead and we need to finish this spear. It's just a burnt umber there. Yeah, I didn't think that hadn't been done. There we go. Cool it down a bit. That's orange sienna for the cuffs. The leather parts of it anyway. It's a little hard to tell what's what sometimes. This is also the time that if you see any errors or mistakes, we need to start getting all that kind of taken care of. Okay. Let my poor hand rest. 22 minutes, huh? Oh, that's not bad. Made it longer. Oh, gone shorter. So that ain't too shabby. Okay. So we can move on to a little base work. That's raw umber there. I guess a real light paint gray there. And then do burnt umber here on this log. Well, it's not log, it's a root. Whatever. Okay, I'm gonna let that set up for a second. It's gonna sit. And while that's done, let's go over here and mess with this guy a little bit. Okay, so that effect for it's pretty easy. All we're really doing is gonna dry brush teal straight onto this color here. Now there's places where that's going to be easier said than done, of course. But for the most part, it's not too bad. Anywhere we can't get in like that, you can always do with a regular brush. Just make sure you pull in the right directions. Yeah. always, on this, we're always trying to make sure that brush is good and dry. That's our vermilion. Got a little heavy. And let it dry too. Make sure you're taking a little bit of time, letting it dry out. Because you might actually come back. You may want it a little darker. You may want it a little less dark. So I definitely recommend getting it on there as much as you think you want it, and then letting it set up. And you might come back and say, oh, actually it needs more. I want it more blue on it. Or it might be too much. You might have wanted a little bit more red, in which case, you know, strip the model and start over. That's what alcohol's for. I'm talking about like teenage alcohol, not drinking, by the way. For those of you who think drinking will solve that, it won't. It won't. That's a little too wet. So if it's too wet, it's going to go in the cracks. We don't want that. So there's a little bit of that one. Now for this hot pink guy, we'll get him started today too, or not. Hot orange, hot yellow. You start with pink. You start with this hot pink, which is Opera Rose. It is definitely pinkety pink, pink, pink. Well, it sounds like my yard guy might be here. So we might have to jump off here in a bit. That's when I used to be able to do the yard myself, but as you get older, there's things that you just don't get to do anymore. So you have to get somebody who you trust, and I definitely trust Diego. He's a good guy. He does a good job. But I also want to grumble about it because, yeah, it's fun, right? A little bit of grumbling is a good time. Maybe a little bit of drift. It's all right. I might have been mistaken. Oh gosh. Okay. Flex my hands, flex my hands. Make sure you're doing plenty of stretches. I'm gonna read all the armor today. So I can throw an armor wash on and be done with that. Although that probably won't actually work because you never know what you're going to have to repaint. But it's a good start. I'm going to throw that on there. Make sure his are done. Okay, yeah, these they're wash. That's a brown wash with a raw umber, just to separate it and give it a little bit more tone. We're also, while we're at it, we're going to do the belts, the conch, the tassels, all these textile things and organic bits. Help kind of lock it all in. We need to do that spear. I gotta figure out exactly how I want to do that. Oop. That's okay. We can get his foot there. That'll be all right. Okay. I really think that's like a maybe a Payne's gray, just a light. darker paint gray over top of it just to tone that out. We're gonna let that set and then drop a brown wash on top of it, and the rock will be done. Oh, okay, you're getting pretty close. All right, now that this is dry, we're gonna come back with, this is a cadmium yellow deep. Just right on top of that pink, and then bring it down a little bit too, because we're going to use that to kind of mix in and start to turn it into like a green color. This pattern's actually really easy in the end. Especially on this guy, since he's so open, all his stuff is open. It'll be easier to get to him. This particular sculpt. Oop. Get up there, Pat. Get up there where people can see you. Do the paint thingy. Oh, I should have done his leg pads. Oh. We'll do that in a minute. And then we're just going to take some teal. I'll start coloring it. Not the armor. Coloring in the rest. Anything we have to come back and change colors or move around colors later will be fine, because we're going to put a substantial wash on this. So today we just kind of want to get our base colors and base coats in. I could have done better with my priming here. Looks like somehow he missed getting under the chin. Usually I'm pretty good about getting under the chin. Well, this is all base coating, so it's not that big a deal. Just make sure we're staying smooth. We don't want any real bad poolage. And kind of watch your overpaint too. Although you're typically going to have some, so don't get too stressed out if fine you've done a little overpainting. It'll be just fine. It will be okay. Promise. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna have to tear down this palette today, though. It's getting a little rough. Not holding things wet as well as I'd like it to. Let that hand rest for a second. Again, if you're feeling like your fingertips are getting numb, or you get like a pain in the top of your hand or anywhere in your fingers, take a break. It's better to take a break and like not overtax your hand than it is to like overtax your body, because you'll end up to where you'll lose the amount of time you can paint overall, and then like your lifespan anyway. And then also like how long you can go in between switch sessions and things like that. So you'll lose time doing it. It's better to just go ahead and take your time. It really is. Okay. And just a little bit of flexing your hand and rubbing your forearm and all that stuff goes a long, long way. So, yeah, you should do that. Didn't I have that up here? I thought I did. I guess not. I'm getting better at putting my paints back, and it's messing me up because I've spent decades of not being good at it, and now I'm being a good boy, and it's not good. It's not well. It's not going well. I like to be evil. I like to be a bad boy. Oh, there's the other guy right there. Great, that's perfect timing. I'll be done doing this by the time he's done doing that, and all things shall be good. Alright, so we're back to getting on this guy. Got a little bit of that off rose back out. We're just gonna get the rest of these thigh pads in. Anywhere else we might have missed too. I feel like we want to bring that hot neon color in. I thought it was a fun lizard. Long time ago, I worked for a restaurant called Iguana. It was a lot of fun. We had a bunch of different kinds of iguanas on the ceiling, on the walls, and not ceiling. Anyway, on the walls. I think I had too much to drink here, sir. I am not thinking properly. Flirpy flirp. Alright, just let that dry in. Should be in pretty good shape from there. We're trying to green out a little bit of that. And depending on how yellow or orange you want it, you can put as much of this cadmium on here. I'm trying to get a little bit more of a yellow and less of an orange. So I'm going to keep adding a little bit to it. Again, it's also going to help us as we blend down. into that blue. It'll help with that. Okay, and then I did just a little bit of white here to kind of be his markings. We don't have to do anything too fancy here. Those that little extra bit of marking is kind of fun. It's kind of good. A lot of lizards have them. Okay, so from here, this feels like you're about to ruin it, but it works. Put Payne's Gray on it. Oh, I guess I should have done those thigh pads. We'll do that before we we had this. But so you can see how it's just pulling. It's going to pull all our details out for us pretty easily. And it looks good against the other color. If you put brown on here, you're going to lose a lot of the vibrancy. And this kind of holds that vibrancy and still gives us the chances to see everything. Just mind yourself. Make sure you're not getting it too the wash too thick. There's just a kind of a balance there. It's got to be thick enough to go in and cover, but not so thick it makes everything disappear. All the colors. You don't want all the colors gone. I'm just trying to get in the crevices. Oh yeah, you're looking slick. All right, my hand is just saying. I wonder if he's gonna get started or if he's waiting for me. Usually gets going. I'm just gonna keep working. We'll deal with it in a minute. Remember, things look different when they dry, so don't overreact. If it didn't look like it's exactly the right color, give it some time. Let it dry before you overreact. If you dry it out and it still looks messed up, then overreact. But let it dry first, and then. Okay, so pretty good though, honestly. I love that orange on top. Such a great like pine. Okay, that puts us over the 50-minute mark. All that's got to dry anyway, so I am going to close this down. I'm going to take care of my lawn guy, Mr. Diego. Actually, it's he has a last name, but I'm not gonna say his last name just because it's better that way. His name's Diego. If you really want to know, if you live in Oklahoma and you want him to come do message me and we'll talk. Otherwise, yeah, no. Anyway, hope everyone had a great day. Hope you enjoyed seeing a couple of things painted, and well, I'm going to get the rest of these guys knocked out today. My hope is to have everything ready to do some photos and some shorts for the weekend, and then we'll put out we'll put that out, and then we'll put it on the Etsy to sell. Hopefully, I think I forgot to add that to the doobly doos again. Definitely get on there. Pretty easy to find. I'm Pieces Pat Paints at Etsy.com. Pretty easy if you're looking to buy miniatures that are painted. Come over there, grab what you can. Anything I'm legally allowed to sell, I will sell over there. Some stuff I'm not legally allowed to sell it. I mean, I can paint it, but I can't sell it. It's just weird. Anyway, there's that. Be good to yourself. Be good to somebody else. Be good to each other. Just be good. Goodness, we need to spread some more goodness in the world. And I guess that's it. We'll talk to you later. Bye.